One of the biggest hurdles to earning any Generation 1 Legendary is the base Tyria map completion. This requires you to complete each and every Renowned Heart, Vista, Hero Point, Waypoint, and Point of Interest in all of the core maps. And there's quite a few. I have been working on some of the map completion, so I can build myself the Bifrost to really make that whole wizard vibe set out for me for my Elementalist. And I've found quite a few useful tips on how to complete the map in as little time as possible. These are the 5 critical tips that I'd like to share with you on how to get your Gift of the Explorer in Guild Wars 2. Please make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Guild Wars 2 videos. First and foremost, let's get the obvious one out of the way, and that is of course having access to a mount. Tyria is big, like really big, and the base maps have quite a bit of distance to cover, so the obvious first tip is of course to have at least one mount unlocked. This is not surprising in any way. Personally, doing this, I use the combination of the Sky Scale and the Workload to cover distances or to fly over heights. The Workload, of course, has some of the Janthier Wild's masteries unlocked, so it maneuvers a little bit more fluidly. It can make traveling from node to node very simple. If all I had was the Raptor mount, it is still a massive boon for this entire endeavor because of the leak. To unlock the Raptor, you need to be at least level 10 and have one of the expansions tied to your account. At the end of this video, I will link a video showing you how to unlock each and every one of the mounts available in Guild Wars 2. So the second bit was absolutely a huge help, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it at the time, but when I was leveling my Guardian, I completed every map that I got into until level 80. Because of level scaling, I still ended up earning comparable experience, but it was a massive help to start out my grind for world completion with already about 40% of the maps completed. Because I did all of those things during the leveling process. I got it into my head that that's what I needed to do, and that was the best way to get the experience. Nowadays, honestly, when I'm leveling up a character, I'm simply either using tomes or a level 80 boost that you get when you purchase an expansion. But it still helped out massively for the greater portion of the maps that I had completed already to give myself a head start by completing them while I was leveling through them anyway. I've heard some tips going against this and some tips going for it. Personally, I could see both sides. I like the idea of being a bit more completionist as I was leveling. Some players may not like that, but this is something that helped me out when I was working with one of my characters. Now, also with that same thought in mind, if you have a main character who has not already completed a number of the maps, but you have an alt who has completed quite a few, I would suggest starting out and working on the map completion with that alt, just to save yourself some time. And when you do complete the Gift of the Explorer, you end up getting 2 of them, so it covers 2 Generation 1 legendaries. This one really shouldn't be that big of a shocker, but having a high strike damage and high mobility class, I can't recommend enough. With many of the Renowned Hearts asking you to just basically kill as many mobs or clear out an area of creatures, having a class that has a ton of mobility such as the Thief or the Guardian helps out tremendously. Personally, with my Guardian, I am using Great Sword, Shield setup with Advance as one of my skills to ensure I nearly always have Swiftness up at all times. And both the Sword and Great Sword have an amazing gap closer. The strong bit is that I am strike damage oriented versus me having some kind of condition oriented build. Because I am dealing strike damage, I don't have to worry about the buildup of conditions over time. This saves a little bit of time here and there, but it can compile into minutes and hours. I am simply spamming my attacks and moving on fairly quickly. There is also a good argument here to have some type of range capability as well, like I could technically go through a power-oriented longbow for my Guardian that could dish out damage from afar. But I'm simply already using the Great Sword and the Sword Shield, and it's what works for me. I'd make that recommendation for you just to speed things along. Now, this is a really quick one, but honestly, it was kind of unique when I actually figured it out. Using the weapon swap when you are doing longer channels makes a world of difference. Let me explain. Because most of the Renowned Hearts ask you to gather for something or search or dig for something, what you have to do is interact with various nodes all around these Renowned Hearts. While this is channeling, you can simply swap weapons and it will end it early and still give you credit. Now, in my experience for these long channels, they usually summon like a mob, you kick over a spider's nest and a spider appears and then you gotta fight it, which of course if you weapon swap while in combat it incurs the longer cooldown, but you can quickly earn credit on these things just simply by pressing the weapon swap and moving on. I was able to clear out a Renowned Heart just by simply running through spamming all of these and not getting hit. Now, this is one that I found out later, and it was one that I was actually already doing anyway, but purchasing the Testimonies of Heroic from any of the heroic notaries in World v World zones. You can choose to specifically unlock all hero points that you have not unlocked from random core materia maps at the cost of one of these testimonies. You can earn these from a number of different boxes and caches that you get from completing various events at high level maps, or mainly from expansion map events, and you get 10 at a time. The way that I primarily earned a good majority of mine, of course, was actually earning the skirmish chest from competing in World vs. World. Using these saved quite a bit of time as I was working through world completion, because while not overly difficult, it can be a pain to find each one of these hero points through Corteria, as they're not always easily accessible. Some of them are in caves, some of them are underwater. They can be a bit obnoxious to get. So just being able to press a button and immediately unlocking this, that's a huge help. This last little tip is actually just something that I find myself doing to keep myself sane. Now, some people would probably go ahead and say, complete the entire map that you're working on before moving on to the next one. I can't function that way appropriately. So what I've been doing is going and clearing about like a quarter or half of a map and then going to a new map and working on that one over there. It helps freshen up where I'm at and makes it a little bit less tedious. Does this actually reduce the amount of time that you're going to be doing world completion? Probably not, because you're jumping around so much. However, I find it's better for my sanity, and it felt like I was getting more done with less time. Now, again, that last one is just simply me speaking on my own experience. Also, on this same vein, it should be mentioned that there are some renowned hearts that you can complete just by purchasing the items on the trading post. I've included a link in the description below of the items that will work in this regard that will allow you to simply just purchase those items to complete a renowned heart almost instantly. Now, I would like to include a tip, and it's not one that I have used personally, but I have heard a lot of very good things about it, and I'd like to make you aware of it, and that is, of course, Blish HUD, which is an external add-on for the game that can make things immensely easier. They have a pathing module that will literally guide you directly to the most optimal path through all the various maps here in Tyria. And quite literally has a ton of tips on everything that you will be doing, from finishing renowned hearts faster to what is the fastest way to get to this vista. I've included a link in the description below for more information if you are curious. Blish HUD is an incredibly useful tool that many people who play Guild Wars 2 enjoy. Personally, I'm a bit of a naturalist. No, not in that way, I do wear deodorant, but simply play the game of Guild Wars 2, how it was designed and what tools I have in front of me. Do you have any tips on how to make map completion faster? Share them here, as it could be incredibly helpful for any of the new players watching. If you would like to know how to unlock each and every mount in Guild Wars 2, I've created this video here. It'll cover every single one here in the game. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.